Let's now hear the divine story of Sati and her rebirth as Devi Parvati. Devi Sati was the daughter of King Daksh, who was the son of Lord Brahma. He was a man who followed Dharma. Sati was happy and cheerful. She was also exquisitely beautiful. She was a bit naughty, but was never proud or haughty. As she grew to a marriageable age, many visited her like great rishis and sages. They told her of the greatness of Mahadeva and explained that he was the Devadideva. Hearing this, Sati fell in love with the Lord and desired to marry the God of gods. She immediately expressed her wish to marry the God of gods. But to her surprise, her father did not nod. He said no and expressed his hatred towards Rudra. But Sati could not understand why her father disliked Shiva. Daksh said, "He applies ashes all over his body. How could he ever be so godly?" Saying this, her father left the place, and Sati's heart started to race. Somehow, the marriage was fixed with Shiva in a few days' time. Sati and Shiva's marriage was going to be divine. All were happy except Sati's dad. This made Sati sad. It was finally the day of their wedding. Many Ganas started to dance and sing. From Kailash, as Lord Shiva's procession started, here and there many gods darted. The Lord's procession included Agni, Vayu and Chandra, and also included Varun, Kubera and Indra. There were many other gods, sages and Ganas as well. In the next few lines, some of their names I shall tell. There was the great Sri Narayan and creator Brahma. There was also the beaming bright Surya. There were sages like Narad Muni, and the Ganas included Nandiji, Devi Lakshmi and Saraswati, along with Indra's wife Sachi, accompanied and dressed Devi Sati. The marriage happened in the most splendid way. About it, I have no words to say. Shiv and Sati lived happily until one day which is hard to be said. The day was near when Sati would reach her end. One day, Daksh decided to perform a ritual. It was done only by those who were spiritual. He invited Vishnu, Indra, Brahma, and also all the gods except Sati and Shiva. He did not like Shiva because he was the destroyer, and so he invited only the creator and protector. When Sati heard that a yajna was conducted by her father, Sati longed to go there and see her parents and sisters. Though Daksh had long before disowned her, that did not stop her. She urged Shiva to come with her to her father's place. Lord Shiva sensed that something was going to happen one of these days. Lord Shiva asked Sati to go on by herself. Sati said to him, "Please do come only when I call you myself." Shiva reluctantly agreed and said, "Okay, I shall come only when you are in need." Lord Shiva, with tears in his eyes, shut his eyes tight. It was going to be a terrible night. Sati then walked on her own. She walked and walked till she reached her home. She came inside and was so happy to see her father. However, her dad was not happy to see his daughter. She looked around and saw Vishnu and Brahma and demigods, including the king of gods Indra. She became angry for Shiva was not given an invite. But she could not take the situation lightly. Just then, Prajapati Daksh ordered Sati to get out. Sati, in revolt, started to shout. Daksh insulted Mahadev, while Sati explained that he was Devadidev. Still, Daksh insulted Shiva a lot, and Sati's forehead started getting hot. Sati shouted, "Har Har Mahadev!" and in a fit of rage jumped into the puja fire. And Shiva, who is in Kailash, opened his eyes, knowing that the situation was dire. He opened his eyes, which were red, and he stood up and touched his head. He pulled one of his long locks of hair and threw it on the ground, and Veerbhadra appeared right there. Veerbhadra, along with Bhadrakali, marched towards Daksh's place. They went unarmed because they did not need a sword or a mace. They killed all the soldiers present there, and Veerbhadra marched towards Daksh and pulled him by the hair. He killed Daksh in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, Daksh's wife began to cry. Bhadrakali advised her not to cry and said that everything will be fine. Just then, Lord Shiva arrived at the scene. He looked sad, pale, and lean. He brought a goat's head and attached it to Daksh's body and brought him back to life with his powers, which were godly. When Daksh was brought to life, happiness was all over the face of Daksh's wife. From Shiva, Daksh begged for forgiveness. Shiva forgave him but wasn't filled with happiness. He looked across the room to see Sati's body burning. He picked the body and refrained himself from crying. He stood on the land and performed his epic dance while holding Sati in his hands. Someone had to do something about Sati, else the earth would be destroyed completely. He decided to intervene, the one who holds the chakra and shankha. I am talking about Sri Narayana. He mounted his vehicle Garuda and cut Sati's body into 51 pieces using his Sudarshana chakra. These different pieces of Sati fell in different places and are now temples in each of these places. Lord Shiva went inside a cave and closed his eyes and began to meditate. There, Devi Adi Parashakti, who was Devi Sati, had now taken rebirth as Devi Parvati. Thank you.